know what I love? Bustin'. Because bustin' makes me feel good. That's why I'm such a big fan of the Ghostbusters films. Both of them. I know the sequel's not as critically acclaimed as the first, but I'm gonna cross the f***ing streams anyways. It's Ghostbusters 1 versus Ghostbusters 2 on Movie Feuds. Bill Murray plays the charming, cynical smartass Peter Venkman. He holds PhDs in both psychology and parapsychology. What he lacks in book smarts compared to his peers, he certainly makes up for in street smarts. He acts as the leader of the team, and he certainly got him out of a jam or two from time to time thanks to his social skills. Meaning he actually has some. Next up is Dan Aykroyd's Raymond Stantz, the history buff of the group. He has a childlike wonder to his work with an unhealthy dose of curiosity at certain points. Last but not least is the late Harold Ramis playing Egon Spangler. One could say Dr. Spangler is the Sheldon of the group, for you Big Bang Theory tools out there. How is that shit still on? And now they're the highest paid actors on television? Are you serious? What is going on? It's the same shit every week. Nothing changes. Nothing's different. It was played out after 2 seasons. And yet here you are, eating it up like lap dogs. It just bothers me to no end. And the fact that I have to reference Sheldon as Dr. Spangler so some of you younger kids who've never seen Ghostbusters can understand the reference and the character. It pisses me off! But I digress. Egon is the least social of the bunch, but arguably the most intelligent. He created the weapons and gadgets the team uses, along with the help of Ray. His free time hobbies include the collection of spores, molds, and fungus. So you could say he's not a blast at parties, but he is a blast to watch on film. More comedic relief comes from Rick Moranis as bumbling nerd Louis Tully. Fun fact, Rick Moranis retired from acting in 1997 to be a full-time dad. That's pretty cool. I'd love to retire from being worthless to being a full-time dad, but Here we are. Then we have the secretary, Janine, played by Annie Potts, and the stunningly beautiful, yet equally badass Sigourney Weaver as Venkman's love interest, Dana. I think that pretty much rounds out the cast. Everybody's been accounted for. Everybody's here. Everybody's present. Not missing anyone, I don't think. Oh yeah, the fourth Ghostbuster. Winston, played by Ernie Hudson, and this guy just never gets the respect he deserves. He's not even on the original poster! Originally conceived as the smartest of the team, Winston ends up being more of the everyman of the film. Dan Aykroyd actually wanted Eddie Murphy for the role since they had such a good rapport on Trading Places, but I'm glad they went with Hudson. I think he was perfect for the part. I haven't even touched the villains yet, but that's a big separating factor, so let's dive into it in story. Coming up now. Something strange. The 1984 original was exactly that. Original. The trio lose their jobs, and I guess they decide the only thing worse than working at Columbia University is busting ghosts. So they set up shop at a fire station, build their equipment and kick-ass vehicle, the Ecto-1, and start up the business. So many memorable scenes play out in the first installment, from the first encounter with the ghost at New York Public Library to the intense final battle with Gozer on the rooftop, complete with the 10-story Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I was pretty young when these first movies came out, and I remember being pretty scared of those demonic dogs running through Central Park. That shit doesn't leave you. Still have that baggage on the floor over there. Even though I knew Dana was being controlled by a hellish creature from another dimension, I was still turned on by her. Perhaps even more so. We get introduced to the infamous Slimer as well. Christ, I remember that fat being splattered on everything from lunchboxes to Hi-C. He had his own flavor. The sequel is very much lacking in the creative department as it has to find ways to shoehorn Weaver's character back in. I guess it wasn't enough to just make her the girlfriend. Instead, we have to have some convoluted plot involving an evil painting named Vigo. Perhaps the term frightening painting sounded better on paper. Although, to be fair, I was actually pretty scared of that thing. And his assistant. Vigo. Yes, master. I like the idea behind the ectoplasmic reticulum, and the river of that purple shit under the city was a really cool sequence. The Statue of Liberty was the shark jumping moment, but it's Ghostbusters, so I'm gonna forgive pretty much anything it does. The first movie's 30 years old now. That's depressing. It's also damn impressive because the thing holds up wonderfully. The proton packs alone are beyond awesome. I remember having a toy version when I was like 7 or 8. It had the particle accelerator on the back. It also had the neutrino wand. But if I can't blast a f***ing ghost, what worth is it? It doesn't have polarized neutrons blowing into a negative energy field so I can trap the ghost in my ghost trap. So why use it? It's worthless. Not everything's perfect. The Statue of Liberty looks like a chick dressed up as the Statue of Liberty, because that's exactly what it was. But for the most part, it's forgivable, charming, and at times perfect. The stop motion and particle effects work well for this film, and I'm curious to see what Ghostbusters 3 brings to the table when it inevitably comes out. Personally, I think it's going to be a disaster of biblical proportions. The dead rising from the grave, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, and such. Doesn't get much better than this. Elmer Bernstein composed 39 tracks for the first film. They have a large-scale sound with crazy synths mixed in. But the big song is, of course, the title one, Ghostbusters, written by Ray Parker Jr. Why this, you ask? Ask Huey Lewis and the News. They went to court about it, settled. Ray Parker ripped him off. Same beat, I guess. I don't know. I don't know anything about music, but that's what I read. Nevertheless, $20 million was attributed directly to that song. But here's the rub. Huey Lewis and the News was approached originally to do the Ghostbusters theme song, but couldn't because they were already working on Back to the Future. Full circle jerk. The sequel's more of the same, except for the one breakout hit by Bobby Brown, On Our Own, and that is my jam, even though Bobby Brown's a total asshole. I love these two films. I love the history behind them. I guess you could say that Ghostbusters 3 was kind of already made in video game form. It has all the original cast, and it was partially written by Dan Aykroyd. I don't care who wins this feud. It was just an excuse to talk about the wonderful piece of my childhood. So when you're done jerking off to the Big Bang Theory, and you're thinking about what you could possibly watch next, look to the 80s, my friends. Look to the 80s. It's got something for you. Something fun, creative, exciting, and different. And ask yourself, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. More than just reviews, this is Movie Feuds. I'm going to go cue up some Bobby Brown.